Let's speak to Michael Pregent. He's a former intelligence advisor to the Iraqi armies on the webcam now. Michael, this is a tough job and most of us wouldn't want to do it, but 450 more troops, you'd have to worry, is neither here nor there, really, is it, when you consider the funding available to IS, the recruiting power it has and its fighting ability?
Well, you were sending 450 trainers to train Sunnis now. We should have been doing that the last 12 months. One of the conditions that Abadi made to the U.S. was that Baghdad would vet the Sunnis to be trained. And the U.S. has decided to train the Iraqi military on how to train the Sunni tribes. What that means is you have Shia militias inside the Iraqi security forces training Sunni tribes that they don't trust to fight ISIS. I don't see that dynamic working, and I think it's a fatal flaw in the training strategy.
You'd have to worry too, wouldn't you, that the fate of Iraq essentially is in the hands of Iran, isn't it? And Iran, a Shia nation, doesn't want to see the Sunnis doing better in Iraq.
No, Iran and Maliki have both pressured Abadi into not building this Sunni force. So what's going to happen now is Baghdad is going to insist on vetting all the Sunnis that the Americans trained. And what that means, if you have a relative that was a former Ba'athist, or you ever had an anti-government position, you're going to be vetted out of this force that the Americans are going to train. And Americans need to know that. The U.S. generals on the ground need to know that that's what's going to happen. That's what Baghdad is going to insist on.
So what is the future now for Iraq, do you think?
Well, you know, we were supposed to prepare a force to take Mosul back, and then we lost Ramadi. Now we're looking to create a force to take Ramadi back when Western Baghdad is under threat. We're about 6 months behind ISIS. And I think in the next 90 to 120 days, we're likely to see ISIS start moving into Western Baghdad unless something gets in the way of it. And it can't be this delayed Sunni force that Baghdad is going to insist on vetting.
And presumably, as ever, American domestic politics play a part here. This is a president facing an election next year, or at least his party facing an election.
Yeah, the consensus here in D.C., of course I'm in Orlando, is that we're just kicking this down the road for the next president. So in the next 18 months, you're going to have to look at what strategies are we going to need to put in place in order to fix this. But if we're having to build a Sunni force after Western Baghdad has fallen, where are we going to build that force at after the Iraqi government has already ceded the Sunni areas to ISIS?
Michael Pregent, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.